Have you ever felt like something much bigger than the news and social media is happening right now? As if an invisible gear has been set in motion, and now the entire destiny of humanity is being guided by hands we can't see, but feel deep in our hearts? Well, this feeling is no coincidence. We are facing an inevitable turning point, a watershed moment from which there is no turning back. What lies ahead has already been decided, and no matter where you are, you will be part of this process. The future of Earth is no longer in doubt. It has already been sealed. Forces beyond human comprehension have begun to act, preparing an unprecedented movement of purification. Humanity is about to pass through a tunnel of fire and light, where everything built on lies will be torn down. And in this scenario, each soul will be confronted with its truth. This is no ordinary warning. It is a calling. And I want you to stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal could completely change the way you view life. It's strange to think that, amid the chaos of the modern world, while everyone seems to be chasing material goods, power, or fleeting distractions, something silent and grand is being planned. But the truth is, the signs are everywhere. Have you noticed how more and more people are sensing that something is going to happen? It's as if a hidden voice whispers in the ears of millions, reminding them that the time of judgment is approaching. This call is not fantasy, not illusion. It is the preparation of a new stage that will not depend on human will, but rather on a much greater plan. The forces driving this process require neither approval nor recognition. They don't appear in political speeches on stages of power or on television screens. They act invisibly, yet so powerfully that they can shape the fate of entire civilizations. We're no longer talking about if it will happen, but about when and how. The future of the Earth is being decided beyond human reach, but each person will still have the chance to choose which side they wish to remain on. This is because purification is not just collective, it is deeply individual. And here's the question few have the courage to face. This preparation isn't gentle, it's not made of caresses or comforts. On the contrary, it requires a radical cleansing, capable of separating the light from the shadow within each of us. Because of this, many have felt inexplicable emotional pain, sudden crises, and losses that seem unfair. None of this is accidental. It's all part of a process that tests the soul's resilience, sifting through hidden intentions and bringing to light what was hidden. Every tear, every silence, and every sleepless night is, in fact, part of the invisible training for what lies ahead. Many look outward, trying to understand what's happening through global events. Pandemics, wars, and economic downturns emerge, believing that all of this is merely the result of human ambition. But there's something more. These events are not just humanity's mistakes, but triggers used by higher powers to accelerate the process of the Great Cleansing. What seems like punishment is actually an invitation. What seems like chaos is actually reorganization. It's like an old house that needs to be demolished so that something new and bright can rise in its place. And it's at this point that you need to ask yourself, where do you stand within this transformation? Are you one of those who feel fear and try to cling to old structures that are crumbling? Or are you one of those who, even in the midst of the fire, sense a promise hidden behind the suffering? This is the question that will define your soul's path. And it's only the first step, because the journey being prepared goes far beyond what the human mind can imagine. Many believe the pandemic was merely a biological accident, a tragedy caused by human error or the greed of the powerful. But in truth, it was much more than that. It was a milestone, a signal, a watershed in recent human history. Suddenly, the entire world stopped. People confined to their homes, their gazes turned inward, their lives questioned in every detail. Do you realize the depth of this? Never before in such a short time have billions of people been forced to face silence and solitude, and it is in this silence that the soul begins to cry out. The pandemic served as a brutal mirror. It exposed hidden fears, revealed the fragility of social structures, and revealed how dependent humanity was on external things to feel safe. But when everything was suddenly ripped away, many were forced to look within and ask, what really matters? Who am I without everything I thought I controlled? This question wasn't asked by chance. It was planted as a seed of awakening, and those who truly listen to it will never be the same. Perhaps you lost someone dear during this period, or perhaps you faced the anguish of uncertainty, the fear of not knowing what the next day would bring. These pains were not small and should not be ignored. But consider, Wasn't it precisely through them that a greater force managed to shatter the illusions you carried? It's hard to admit, but pain is sometimes the only language capable of awakening a humanity that refused to listen to the softest signals. And see how it all fits together. At the same time the world seemed to be falling apart, millions began seeking answers outside of traditional logic. People who had never been interested in deeper reflections began to question the meaning of life, to search for truer connections, to open themselves to the idea that there is something beyond the visible. The pandemic triggered a collective awakening, but it also served as a filter. Many plunged into fear and darkness, while others found a spark of light amidst the shadows. So when you look back, don't see the pandemic simply as a disaster. See it as part of the great cleansing that was already planned. Every tear shed, every loss suffered, every uncertainty endured was in fact a call to let go of what is illusory and prepare for what is coming. Because if you survived this cycle, it's because there's something in your soul that needs to live the next chapter of Earth's history. For millennia, invisible forces have dominated humanity in ways few dared imagine. They didn't reveal themselves directly but manipulated thoughts, emotions, and power structures to keep people trapped in a cycle of fear, dependence, and illusion. Many have given these entities different names throughout history, but they all speak of the same presence, the shadow that drains humanity's lifeblood. These hidden dominators, however, have reached the end of their time here. Their cycle is over, and now Earth will no longer be the prison camp it was for ages. It's hard for many to believe that our entire lives have been under the influence of something so dark, but one only has to observe the endless repetition of wars, injustices, and exploitation to realize that something wasn't right. It was as if an invisible cloud prevented humanity from seeing its true nature, and this cloud had a purpose: to keep souls imprisoned, preventing them from discovering the power they carry within. However, the time has come when this manipulation can no longer be sustained. The collective awakening is dissolving the hold of these forces. The signs of this departure are already visible, though many don't realize it. Power structures that seemed unshakable are crumbling one by one. Control systems, governments, institutions, everything is being revealed in its fragility. And the more the truth comes to light, the more the invisible rulers lose their power, because they relied on secrecy, silent manipulation, and hidden fear. When the light shines, the shadow finds no place to hide, and that's exactly what's happening now. But don't think that the exit of these forces will be easy. They fight, trying to cling to what power remains, and that's why we see so much confusion in the world. It's like a wounded animal struggling before dying. Wars, divisions, manipulation of information, all of these are desperate attempts to maintain a dominance that has already been broken. And this moment is decisive. Those who allow themselves to be overcome by fear fall along with the shadow. But those who maintain the flame of confidence within themselves will forge through the chaos with steadfastness. When Earth finally frees itself from these dominators, a new reality will open up. It will be like breathing fresh air after centuries in a suffocating environment. Souls who remain aligned with the light will have the chance to experience a time of freedom never before imagined. And the departure of these archons will be remembered as the end of a dark era and the beginning of a new golden age. And you are here, at this very moment, to witness this historic event for the human soul. We're used to thinking of time as a continuous line, where children follow their parents and everything seems to repeat itself endlessly. But something very different is happening now. Starting in 2025, a new generation of souls begins to be born on Earth, and they don't carry the same scars from the past. They are beings prepared for much higher realities, with a consciousness that transcends common logic. You'll notice this in the children's eyes, in the way they speak, in the brightness they carry. They haven't come to repeat old mistakes, but to forge a new path. These souls are no longer prisoners of the densities that have controlled humanity for millennia. They come from realms where love, clarity, and wisdom are natural, and they bring with them memories that go beyond traditional human forgetfulness. This is why many of these children appear different, as if they don't fit into the patterns of behavior or learning we know. They are not here to fit in, but to break with the old. They are living seeds of a renewed humanity. Perhaps you've noticed this in a child, nephew, or even in young people around you. They question everything from an early age, don't accept superficial answers, and aren't satisfied with explanations that don't touch their heart. Many demonstrate heightened gifts of perception, as if they can sense emotions and energies that adults ignore. And although they are often seen as strange or too sensitive, they are actually pioneers of the new era, carrying within themselves the frequency of higher worlds. But it's important to understand, the birth of these beings isn't just a gift to humanity, it's also a responsibility. The earth must be prepared to receive them, and this requires cleansing, requires transformation. They won't be able to flourish amidst so much chaos and spiritual pollution. Therefore, all the purification we're experiencing now is, in part, to make room for these new souls to fulfill their role. Without this preparation, the light they bring would be suffocated before it could even shine. These children of the future are like messengers announcing what is to come. They will not be heirs to a decaying world, but builders of a reality we cannot even fully imagine. And if you are here, going through what seems like the end of a cycle, it is because your soul has also been chosen to participate in this new beginning. You may not be one of these new children, but you will be part of the generation that prepares the ground for them, and that is a greater honor than you can imagine. Everything in the universe vibrates. From the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, everything pulses to an invisible rhythm, and the same goes for you. Your mind, your body, your emotions, everything is sustained by frequencies that determine not only how you feel, but also the reality you attract to yourself. Many people still believe that health is simply the absence of disease, but the truth is that health is a state of vibrational harmony. When you are in tune with higher frequencies, your life flows, your body strengthens, and your mind clears. Have you ever noticed how a simple thought can change the state of your body? When you give in to fear, hatred, or sadness, it seems like even the air becomes heavy. But when you feel love, gratitude, or peace, everything changes instantly. This is no coincidence. Every emotion is a frequency, and each frequency shapes your reality. What you repeatedly feel becomes the basis of the vibration that sustains your life. And this is why so many modern illnesses arise from unresolved emotions, hidden hurts, and buried guilt. The secret to life lies in learning to manage these vibrations, not just by caring for your physical body, but also for what you feed with your thoughts and emotions. When you change your frequency, the world around you responds. Different people approach you, opportunities arise, even your surroundings seem to transform. It's as if the entire universe were a mirror that reflects exactly what you emit. And the key to transforming your life lies in consciously choosing what you want to radiate. But don't think this just means thinking positively. True vibrational change requires the courage to face your shadows, purify old pain, and release energies you may have been carrying for years. It's like cleaning a house. It's not enough to put pretty flowers in if the trash still accumulates in the corners. You need to remove what's rotten, open the windows, and let the light in. The same goes for the soul. When you dedicate yourself to this process, your health improves, your mind finds peace, and your life begins to attract new possibilities. The future of humanity will depend on these vibrational choices. It won't be weapons, governments, or technologies that will decide who will undergo the great transformation, but the frequency at which each soul chooses to remain. Higher powers don't judge appearances, titles, or wealth. They only recognize the vibration you emit, and in the end, it will be this frequency that will determine whether you remain trapped in the old cycle or whether you will be called to the new time of light. Have you ever felt like there was something inside you that wasn't quite you? As if strange thoughts suddenly surfaced? As if emotions that didn't make sense weighed on your heart? This sensation isn't a delusion. We often carry what I call subtenants, invisible presences, fragments of energy that settle within us when we make space through fear, pain, or guilt. They aren't your essence, but they can become one with you, influencing decisions, sabotaging dreams, and draining your vital energy. These underlings don't appear out of nowhere. They prey on moments of fragility, an unresolved loss, a betrayal, a hurt you've never been able to forgive. Every open wound is a door, and that which doesn't belong in your soul takes advantage of it to enter. And the longer they remain within you, the more confusion they generate. This is why many people feel blocked, trapped in repetitive patterns, unable to move forward even when they want to. They don't realize it, but they are carrying hidden passengers on their journey. The practice of cleansing is therefore essential for liberation. It's not a one-time thing, but a constant exercise of reconnecting with oneself. You need to learn to identify what truly belongs to your soul and what is merely noise imposed from outside. This practice can happen through moments of deep silence, surrendering to inner truth, or even through simple gestures of daily awareness, such as observing your thoughts and asking, "Is this really me?" This simple question is a powerful key to beginning to dissolve presences that don't belong to you. When you remove these subtenants, a new space opens within you. It's like clearing out a room full of clutter. Suddenly there's fresh air, there's light, there's room for something true to blossom. And in that space, you reconnect with your own soul, the one that never abandoned you, but was suffocated by the weights you carried. This reconnection is like returning home after years lost on strange roads. It's a return to what is pure, to what is real, to what has always been there, waiting for you. The great purification of humanity isn't just external, made up of wars and global changes. It also happens within each person, in the cleansing of subtenants and the reconnection with the soul. If you can go through this process, you'll realize you've never been alone, that there's always been a light sustaining your existence. This discovery will be the foundation for living the new era that's approaching, because only those who carry within themselves the radiance of their own soul will be able to walk firmly when the world around them trembles. Do you feel the weight of the climate of war hanging over Earth? News of conflicts, tensions between nations, threats that seem endless. Many believe this is the harbinger of final destruction, but the truth is that this war is the last gasp of a system that can no longer sustain itself. It is not the beginning of the end, but the end of the end. It is the final stage of a cycle of pain and domination that must end before something new can be born. And yes, strange as it may seem, this end already has a date set in the heart of the universe. This war isn't just about bombs and armies. It also takes place on invisible levels, like a battle between forces vying for the soul of humanity. What we see on the news is just the tip of a colossal iceberg unfolding beyond human sight. And that's why we often feel exhausted, as if we're experiencing pressure we can't explain solely by politics or economics. This is a spiritual war waged behind the scenes of reality, and we are part of it, whether we like it or not. But make no mistake, the end of this conflict has already been decided. It will not come through the victory of one human side over the other, but through the exhaustion of the shadow, the definitive breaking of its hold. When fear ceases to fuel the gears of this war, it will lose its power. The moment this happens will mark the beginning of a transition. It will not be a specific day written on human calendars, but a perceptible milestone in the heart. The feeling that the darkness has lost its grip and that something new has begun to quietly emerge. And what will come next is what many call the Golden Age. It will not be an instant paradise, but a time of rebuilding in which the foundations will be completely different from those we know. Relationships, values, priorities, everything will be transformed. Humanity will have to learn to live again, but now without the invisible chains that have kept it enslaved for so long. And those who make it through the period of war will witness this unprecedented renewal. The Golden Age will not be given for free. It will require courage, patience, and unwavering faith. It will be the time of those who kept the light shining even in the darkest night. And perhaps, when you look back, you will realize that all the suffering, all the pain, and all the chaos were necessary for this time to dawn. Because only when the shadow is completely exhausted will it be possible to live a full, free, and true life. And you are here to participate in this transition, not by chance, but because your soul chose this exact moment to be on Earth. Have you ever noticed how, in times of crisis, people reveal their true selves? Some become more compassionate, more human, more luminous. Others, on the contrary, withdraw into selfishness, fear, and aggression. This is no coincidence. Every crisis is a test, a mirror that reveals the true essence of each soul. And in these times, every choice is recorded not only in the physical world, but in dimensions we cannot see. It's as if every act, every thought, is a vote for the destiny you desire for yourself. The curious thing is that people often believe that great changes depend only on great actions. But that's not the case. The universe responds to small, daily choices. How you treat someone in silence, how you handle your anger, how you position yourself in the face of injustice. These seemingly trivial decisions accumulate vibrations that build the field of your soul. And when the moment of great transition arrives, it won't be titles, positions, or possessions that define who you are, but the frequency resulting from these daily choices. This is why there is no room for neutrality now. Many try to deceive themselves by saying they don't want to choose sides, that they prefer to just wait and see. But inaction itself is a choice. Not acting in the face of shadows is giving them strength, and not aligning with the light is distancing ourselves from them. We are at an invisible crossroads where each person, consciously or not, is defining where their soul will remain. This is the weight of the times we live in. Everything matters. Everything has consequences. Nothing is irrelevant. And see how this connects to what's happening on a global scale. Every war, every pandemic, every social upheaval is in fact a great call for souls to choose their position. Chaos isn't just chaos. It's the backdrop against which each person reveals their essence. Some will use this time to purify themselves and awaken, while others will sink even deeper into fear and illusion. And all of this is already being registered in a larger field that organizes Earth's transition. You may feel like your choices are too small to make a difference, but don't underestimate the power of a soul aligned with truth. A single peaceful heart can radiate energy, capable of transforming an entire family, a community, even a city. It's like lighting a candle in a dark room. The light spreads naturally, effortlessly, and that's exactly what the higher powers expect of you, to be light, even in the midst of darkness. For centuries, humanity has lived under veils of deception. Governments have hidden truths, religions have distorted messages, secret powers have manipulated knowledge. But now, all these veils are being torn away. It is impossible to stop the wave of revelation that has begun. What was hidden will come to light, whether people are ready or not. And this revelation will not just be about historical facts or conspiracies, but about the very nature of reality and humanity. It's already happening. Previously unthinkable secrets are beginning to be exposed. Documents come to light, lies are revealed, leaders fall. Every day a new piece of the puzzle appears, revealing how deceived we have been for so long. This generates shock, disbelief, and even outrage. But it's only the beginning. Imagine when everything is laid bare, when there's no more room to hide the truth. It will be a time when all of humanity will be forced to face what really happened in its history. But revelation goes far beyond the political or social sphere. It reaches each person intimately. Personal masks are also falling. How many of us live hidden behind roles, pretending to be something we're not? That time is over. The cosmic process underway no longer allows for illusions. Everything false will be revealed. Intentions, feelings, hidden desires. You've probably felt this in your own life. People revealing their true selves, relationships changing, truths coming to light. This moment can be painful because it requires courage to face reality without disguise. But it is also liberating because when the lies fall, only the essence remains. And this essence is the foundation of the new world that is emerging. There will be no room for masks, for secrets, for manipulation. What will remain standing will be only what is true. And this is what will pave the way for an era of purer relationships, more authentic lives, and more just societies. So, prepare yourself. The wave of revelation will not stop. The more you try to resist, the more painful it will be. But if you embrace the truth, however harsh, you will discover that it is the gateway to your liberation. And when all is exposed, you will understand that what seemed like the end was in fact the beginning of a time when humanity will finally live without invisible chains, guided not by secrets, but by the light of truth. Have you ever noticed that before a major storm, there's always an eerie silence in the air? It's as if the world holds its breath, waiting for something inevitable. This same silence is happening now, but invisibly. The entire planet seems to live between chaos and calm, between moments of panic and moments of apparent normalcy. But in reality, all of this is part of the harbinger of the great turnaround. It's as if the entire universe is preparing the stage for the greatest spectacle in human history. This silence isn't empty, but full of signs. They're all around you, waiting for you to notice. Small details, coincidences that seem like messages, intense dreams that carry hidden messages. All of this is part of a larger language, through which the invisible speaks to you. But many people are so distracted by superficial concerns that they don't notice. It's like living in a room full of whispers and insisting on covering your ears. But for those who open themselves up, these signs are precious guides on the path to crossing. In this period of apparent calm, many souls feel an inexplicable restlessness. It's as if they know, on some level, that something grand is approaching. This anxiety is not just psychological but spiritual. It's the Earth's vibration shifting, calling each one to align with the new rhythm that is emerging. Those who resist this change feel pain, fatigue, and confusion. Those who surrender feel a strange peace even amidst the chaos. Silence, therefore, is an invitation. Either you fight the inevitable, or you learn to flow with it. It's important to understand that this silence won't be eternal. It's merely the pause before the explosion, the dark night before the dawn. When the change comes, it will be swift, intense, and overwhelming. Many won't be prepared, having deceived themselves into believing that everything would return to the way it was before. But those who have heard the signs, who have prepared themselves internally, will recognize the moment and will not be afraid. For them, it will be like recognizing the sunrise after a long night. The silence before the turn of the tide is, therefore, a gift. It allows you to prepare yourself, to organize your soul, to make conscious choices before the tide turns. Don't waste this time waiting for distractions or trying to hide from reality. Use it as an opportunity to rediscover yourself, to strengthen your light, and to align yourself with what is eternal. Because when the storm begins, there will be no time to chase after what has been neglected. Imagine a vast field ready for harvest. Each plant grew according to the seed that was planted. Some flourished, strong and healthy. Others were lost amidst pests and drought. This field is humanity, and the time of harvest has arrived. It no longer matters what you pretended to be, but what you truly became. What matters is not your outward appearance, but the essence that vibrates within you. This is the invisible criterion that will decide the destiny of every soul. Many think this harvest will be cruel or unfair, but it is not. There is no external judge punishing or rewarding. What happens is simply a natural law. Each soul attracts to itself the destiny that corresponds to its frequency. Those who have cultivated love, truth, and courage will be drawn to dimensions of light. Those who have given in to hatred, lies, and fear will be drawn to darker densities. There is no favoritism, only inevitable consequences. This process has already begun. You see it in the growing separation between people, in the increasingly opposing choices they make. It seems the world is dividing into two paths, one that leads to liberation and the other that leads to imprisonment. This division is not just social or political, it is spiritual. And as time goes on, it becomes more visible. Those who still try to remain on the fence will find that this is no longer possible. The harvest of souls also means that old bonds will be broken. Families, friendships, relationships, everything will be tested. Many connections won't withstand the difference in vibrations. And this can be painful, because no one wants to lose someone they love. But it's important to understand that each soul has its own path, and not all chose the same direction. Loving someone sometimes means letting them follow their own destiny, even if it's different from yours. When the harvest is complete, a new era will begin. Earth will be inhabited only by those who vibrate in tune with the future of light that is being prepared, and those who are not ready will be led to other places, where they will continue their learning. This is not a punishment, but a form of care. Each soul receives exactly the environment it needs to evolve. And you, hearing this now, need to ask yourself, in which field do you wish to flourish? With each cycle, humanity has experienced falls and new beginnings, but nothing compares to what is happening now. This is not just another chapter in history. It is the definitive transition to a new state of existence. The earth as we know it is dying, not in destruction, but in transformation. What appears to be collapse is actually the birth of something greater, something our ancestors dreamed of but could not experience. And now, we are the chosen ones to witness and participate in this dawn. The new earth will not be an external place created from nothing, but a reality built by the collective vibration of those who have chosen the light. It is a dimension of consciousness where life will be guided by harmony, cooperation, and truth. There will be no room for masks, lies, or exploitation, because everything will be transparent. Every thought, every intention will be immediately perceived, and therefore only those who carry purity in their hearts will be able to remain there. This awakening doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual, like the sunrise where darkness slowly recedes until the light becomes full. We're already experiencing the first rays of this dawn. You feel it in your own life. Unexpected changes, painful endings, new beginnings that emerge out of nowhere. It's all part of the preparation. It's as if the earth itself is nudging each soul toward where it belongs. But it takes courage to go through this process. Attachment to the old still holds many people back, and this attachment generates suffering. The key is learning to let go, to trust the invisible, to believe that there is a greater purpose behind every loss. Those who can cast off the chains will be free to fly toward the new earth. Those who insist on holding on to what is falling will remain trapped by the weight of the past. The choice is being made now, within each heart. The new earth will not be a distant dream, but a tangible reality for those who survive the fires of purification. It will be home to a different humanity, more conscious, more awakened, more truthful. And when we look back, we will see that all the pain was worth it, because it was the pain that opened the doors to the future. You are part of this story, and your role is much greater than you can imagine. We've reached the most important moment of this journey, the final call. Everything you've heard so far is not just information but an invitation to look within yourself, to acknowledge the weight of your choices, and to decide which side of history you want to be on. The future of Earth has already been decided, but the fate of your soul depends solely on you. No one can cross this bridge for you. It is your courage, your faith, and your energy that will determine the path. The final call is not meant to instill fear, but to awaken. You are not hearing these words by chance. Your soul has been drawn here because, on some level, it already knows it belongs to the future that is emerging. But to do so, you must be willing to leave behind what no longer serves you, to purify yourself of the shadows, to rediscover the essence that has always been within you. It is not an easy task, but it is the only one that matters at this moment. Think about everything you've experienced so far: pain, losses, victories, lessons learned. Nothing was in vain. Everything was preparation for this time. You were shaped by the fire of life to be here, at this very moment, ready to make a decision. And this decision won't be made with words, but with actions, with the vibration you emit every second. The entire universe awaits your silent response. The future doesn't belong to those who wait, but to those who dare to awaken. The earth is transforming before our eyes, and higher powers have already begun the great cleansing. What comes next will be grand, but only those who are prepared will be able to remain. Are you ready to be one of them? That's the question that will echo within you long after this video ends. And if you've made it this far, I want to ask you something special. Write the keyword in the comments: Renaissance. I want to see how many of you truly walked with me to the end of this journey. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapters of this revelation. The future of Earth is already in motion, and your soul is part of this awakening.